Alright, babies. As exhausting as this is, still have 16 videos before this finishes, so between today and tomorrow, this has to be done. The video today is pretty is static, beauty is dynamic. Beauty is the response and the expression, while pretty is the resting state of it all. As always, my first thought is, what the fuck was I thinking? I do agree with myself though. Pretty is static, beauty is dynamic. Beauty is the response and the expression, while pretty is the resting state of it all. It definitely was inspired by a woman, right? It definitely was inspired by a pretty face on one side and a very beautiful presence on the other. And notice how I kind of like, not that the beautiful woman was not pretty, but that's basically what happens when you see more, right? Because ultimately, finding something pretty, I feel, is a subjective thing. Right? Like some things are pretty for you, but not for others. Or is it objective because it's standardized? All right, let's try again. Finding something pretty is the way I see it. Is there is a standard to pretty. Yes, okay. There is symmetry, right? There is harmony in colors or harmony in shape, or there are kind of like things that you can associate prettiness to. I don't know, some paintings are pretty, and everyone can agree to that. But some paintings are beautiful and only a few agree to that. Why am I trying to look at it from a subjective perspective and an objective perspective? The way I explain it here is beauty is a response and the expression, while pretty is the resting state of it all. The reason I'm trying to look at subjective and objective is because of the separation. What do I mean separation? It is easier to find somebody pretty, right? But that's where it stops. But if you find somebody beautiful, you can't help but see how they are pretty. Okay, I think I'm getting close in how I actually am explaining it in my head. Where you look at something and you say it's beautiful, you are responding to its presence, her presence. I mean, I guess his or whatever the fuck is going on in your head. Finding something beautiful is your own subjective response. Is a response. You cannot describe it. Everyone might look at the same thing and agree that it's beautiful, but everyone would describe its beauty differently. Why? Because everyone relates to something else. So beauty is subjective, but it's subjective because it has energy that flows, it has energy that moves. While being pretty is kind of like the baseline of what beauty can be built around. And you can't standardize it, right? Because Like there's American pretty, there's Spanish pretty, there's Latin American pretty, there's Cuban pretty, there's African pretty, there's Asian pretty, right? There's a whole lot of ways somebody could be pretty. Something could be pretty. A design could be pretty. There's a whole lot of ways. And by pretty, I am kind of like reflecting on the fact that they're not something that's pretty. Sorry, man, a wedding is passing by. Pretty is a lot more less not offensive than it is looking good. That makes sense? Yes, pretty feels a lot more a car without an outer shell. Yeah. Pretty feels a lot more like again, I go back to the word standards. Pretty feels a lot more like a standardization of a level. And so as long as you meet the quota, it's good. But beyond that, something has to be fluid, sorry. Or somebody has to be very connected in order to find beauty in it. It's your response to to the expression that something has. Oh, okay, let me explain it one last time. A woman sitting beautifully, just having a drink, right? Or looking into the, again, I don't know. Because anyway I look at it, the way I see beauty is her movement is a description of her sense of style, which kind of like adds that, which builds on top of whatever prettiness she has. It's the way she speaks. It's the way she moves, right? It's the way she interacts, the way she pauses, she waits, she looks, she enjoys, she accepts. All of those are the smaller things that contribute, that build on top of that base. You know, it's funny because like the way I see it is like, you know, a girl is pretty, a woman is beautiful. And you're up to the age of like 40, 50, 60, you can still be a fucking girl. Why? Because like, you know, an evolution into yourself. Maybe it's the same for boys and men, right? And the idea is for you to kind of like evolve into yourself. Or at the very least, like, in truth, for a woman to be pretty, she has to give herself, I guess, the respect and attention. But for her to be beautiful, she has to allow herself the expression, the love and expression from the attention that she's giving herself and the respect that she's giving herself. Right? And that applies to everything. That's why it's easier to find objects beautiful and pretty. And pretty objects are kind of like standard and they serve a purpose. Beautiful objects kind of like don't. They just exist. They're just beyond what you can kind of like connect with. Maybe that's the subjectivity I'm looking for, because like ultimately beauty is a reflection of how the item, the individual, the woman, the man, see themselves, how they connect with themselves and express themselves or interact to the world, with the world through themselves. Don't worry, it's a wedding. It's not guns. It's funny because like in daytime, they actually like have fucking like fireworks. So like you can't see them. For some fucked up reason, people get excited and then just light them on fire. If they wait a couple of hours, they could have just... Anyways. Pretty is static. Beauty is dynamic. I feel everything innately, as long as it functions or it serves a purpose or it's able to function, has prettiness inside of it. But beauty is literally its own approach to itself. All right, my babies. Beauty is the response, and beauty is the response towards the expression. Pretty is the resting state of it all. Stop being pretty and start being beautiful. Love you.